revered Swami Girishanandaji Maharaj, other revered monks on the dais, revered monks in the audience, revered Matajis, respected delegates, dear devotees. It's indeed a rare and unexpected, sudden privilege to be able to speak here in this magnificent hall filled with devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, and not just devotees, but a very special kind of devotees of Sri Ramakrishna who are doing the work of Sri Ramakrishna in this world. It really fills one's heart with devotion and inspiration to see this gathering in this wonderful hall. The subject that I wanted to talk about was just some pictures of Bhava Prachar, just to get an idea of what's going on there in the United States. So I am in the ashram founded by Swami Vivekananda, the first one. In 1894, Swami Vivekananda founded the Vedanta Society of New York. Now in New York, the biggest event in the year in the city of New York is the New York Marathon. And every year, it starts in Central Park, which is just across the street from the ashram, so we get to see it. Very busy, thousands and thousands of people come for that program. And do you know who conducts it, who sponsors it, organizes it, and conducts it? It's an Indian company, Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. And what is more important is, it is because of Swami Vivekananda. See, long ago, on his way to the United States, we all know how he ran into Jamshedji Tata on the ship. And Swami Vivekananda, this Hindu monk, and Tata, this Parsi businessman, they talked about the future of education in India. And Swami Vivekananda inspired Tata to start an institution for fundamental science research in India, which ultimately became the Indian Institute of Science, which for a long time it was known as the Tata Institute in Bangalore. And from that Tata Institute, we also have Jamshedji's letter to Swami Vivekananda, reminding him that it's you who gave me the idea, and in fact inviting him to be the first director of that institute. It is from that institute, the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, that the cream of India's scientific manpower was generated in the early decades after independence, before and after independence. And it was those people who started the many engineering colleges, including the IITs and all, which have led to the IT boom, of which the Tata Consultancy Services is one part. So you see, it starts on the ship with Vivekananda. And today you see the effect, not just the New York Marathon, but across the United States, in Silicon Valley, everywhere, you see the effect of the original investment in science and technology. This is one. My point here is, we can never know the end of the efforts that you are putting forth. In our own ways, in different parts of India, in the many different ashrams, hundreds of ashrams, you are giving these ideas, these inspiring spiritual teachings of Thakur Maha Swamiji to the next generation, to devotees and to youngsters. Swami Vivekananda has said the greatest dana, the greatest gift that one can give, beyond the gift of food, beyond the gift of medicine, beyond the gift of secular knowledge, the highest gift that one can give is spiritual knowledge. And that is what you're all doing. The most blessed kind of work, to give these ideas to, especially to the next generation. Where this influence will end, we don't know. Just like this organization, the Bhava Prachar Parishads, in fact, I just heard that it's more than 40 years since the Bhava Prachar Parishads have been working. Maybe this is a time to actually write a history of the Bhava Prachar Parishad. That could be something that could be an outcome of this conference. That would be a very valuable resource, not only to all the ashrams, but to other countries, including the United States, those who are doing this work in the United States. In the United States, of course, we have the branches of Belur Math, our ashrams there. There are around 15 Vedanta societies there now, which have their own branches. But what is not really known is that there are many ashrams, like the affiliated ashrams here in the Bhava Prachar Parishad. There are many, many ashrams in the United States run by devotees, very much like yourself. For example, I go almost every month, every other month, to this new ashram, Vivekananda Vedanta Center of Connecticut, VVCC. And it's all done by devotees. Some of our Swamijis, I and others, we go there to help occasionally. But all the programs are carried on. They raise the money. They bought the institute, that building and the grounds, and they conduct the regular programs. This is one example. There's another one in Pittsburgh. There's one in Atlanta. There are many such ashrams across the United States and Canada run by devotees and who are doing this work. Second picture. Bhava Prachar is done through books. Now let me take you to far, far away on the shores of the Pacific Ocean. In California, there is a small town called Laguna Beach. And if you visit that town, it's a beautiful small town. Mostly it's very popular with artists and writers and so forth. And if you go there, a little further up from the ocean, it's like a hill, you'll come across a little cottage. And in that little cottage, there lives a monk. And this monk has been working for the last 50 years. This monk has been writing book after book after book. And those books are the basis of Bhava Prachara in our work in the United States, in Canada, and here in India. Of course, I'm talking about Swami Chaitanyananda Ji Maharaj. Yes, well, he might deserve. Even in his late 80s, he is continuing to do that work. I have visited him there. He lives there alone for a few months every year in complete solitude, cooking his own food and day and night working on these books, which have become our support, our foundation. This is through these books alone. When I give talks about the direct disciples, I told Maharaj, it is your books that we go to. And an interesting, I'll tell you an interesting fact. When you go into the cottage, you will find Mickey Mouse all over. So on his table, even in the bathroom, his telephone is also Mickey Mouse. I asked why Mickey Mouse is everywhere in the cottage. And then he told me a very interesting story, that the vice president of Disney, who actually designed Mickey Mouse, he was a devotee of, he was very close to Swami Prabhavananda Ji. And before he died, before he passed away, he gave this cottage to Maharaj for his work of writing these books. So that's why Mickey Mouse is everywhere in that cottage. So this is the second picture. Academic work is another important aspect. The third picture, and the final one I'll give you. Now, if you go to top university in the United States, and maybe one of the top in the world, at Harvard University, you will see monks there. Hindu monks, including monks from the Ramakrishna order. And the idea is to convey the ideas, the experiences, and the views of actual practitioners of Hinduism in the class in which Hinduism is being taught, where Vedanta is being taught, where Upanishads are being taught, where Gita are being... Yes, it is being taught at the Harvard University. So they wanted that people who are actually practicing these in their own life, they should be part of the class. One of our young monks is doing an amazing work, Swami Medhananda Ji, is doing an amazing work in spreading the ideas of Thakur, Math, Swamiji, Vedanta across the academic circles in the United States and across the world also. 2 landmark books which he has written, one on Thakur, Philosophy of Sri Ramakrishna, and another one on the philosophy of Swami Vivekananda, have been highly appreciated in intellectual circles. There's a book about how Hinduism spread in USA by Phil Goldberg. And there, one chapter is the importance of intellectual work. The name of the chapter is The Swamis Taught the Smart Guys, and the Smart Guys Taught the Rest of Us. So there he says how, for example, Joseph Campbell, who works, crucial works on mythology, was a disciple of Swami Nikhilananda Ji Maharaj. Salinger, maybe the most beloved novelist in the United States at that time, he was a disciple of Nikhilananda Ji. And Salinger, in some of his books, Franny and Zoe, for example, there are numerous mentions of Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, and he says that I have deliberately put in ideas of Vedanta in my novels so that people can know more and more about it. He says, this is a person who's very well known, beloved in America. He says Raja Yoga and Karma Yoga of Swami Vivekananda, these two spiritual classics, these are spiritual classics which all our American youth would do well to carry in their pockets. That is Salinger. There is Gerald Hurd, Aldous Huxley, Christopher Isherwood. Nowadays in English, if you want to give one book in English about Sri Ramakrishna and his disciples, written by Christopher Isherwood. So these were people who were inspired by different Swamis, and they became instruments of Bhava Prachara, and their effect is felt till today. Who may not know about Vedanta Society, may not even have heard about Vivekananda, but they have heard about Salinger. Children watch Star Wars movies, which were directed by George Lucas and later on, but George Lucas was inspired by Joseph Campbell, who was inspired by Swami Nikhilanandaji. So the effect, ideas in films like Lion King, in movies like Star Wars and so on, some of them have their sources in Vedanta coming through the Bhava Prachar efforts of not only the Swamis, but different devotees working, American and Indians, working in tandem. So I am most happy to be here today in the midst of this condensed bhava of Sri Ramakrishna. We regard the Sangha of Sri Ramakrishna as the body of Sri Ramakrishna. This is the extended body of Sri Ramakrishna. I bow down to this extended body of Sri Ramakrishna. Thank you.